Well, hey, everybody, this is Robert, and welcome to today's episode of Outbreak News TV. And in today's news, we're going to look at the measles outbreak in Chicago. So, on March 7th, the Chicago Department of Public Health, or the CDPH, confirmed a case of measles in a Chicago resident. This was the first case identified in Chicago since 2019. Now, although case investigation identified no recent travel outside of Chicago, the resident reported interaction with domestic and international travelers. Then on the next day, a confirmed case of measles was identified in a child resident at the new arrivals shelter in Pilsen. Following public health protocol, the Chicago Department of Health asked all residents of the shelter at 2241 South Halsted Street to remain in place until it could be determined whether they were vaccinated against measles and therefore immune to the infectious disease. Those who have been vaccinated could go about their normal business, while those that have not been vaccinated would have to remain indoors to watch for symptoms. Fast forward 1 week. CDPH has reported a total of 12 new cases of measles in the city in the course of about a week, 6 adults and 6 children. 10 of the cases are related to new arrivals from a shelter in Pilsen, and 2 are unrelated to the new arrivals mission. Over the last day, CDPH and partners have assessed nearly all of the residents of the Pilsen shelter, vaccinating around 900 and confirming immunity for the remainder, meaning that they were either previously vaccinated or had been infected, so were protected. CDPH coordinated teams have now moved on to other shelters throughout the city to provide vaccinations to those who have not yet received them. CDPH and the Office of Emergency Management and Communications are also maintaining a standing presence at the city's landing zone, providing vaccination for measles to individuals as they arrive in Chicago. New arrivals are screened and directed to follow-up care with the Cook County Health or other partner providers if needed, with the most emergent cases receiving top priority. All new arrivals who have been vaccinated or provide proof of vaccination will be placed into temporary shelters. Even a team from the CDC arrived in Chicago last Tuesday to support the efforts to curb the spread of measles. Dr. Olusimbo Igi, MD, he's the health commissioner for the Chicago Public Health, said this is an unprecedented situation. Now, nationally, in the U.S., the CDC reports as of March 14th, a total of 58 measles cases were reported by 17 jurisdictions. Now, in fact, that total that we're seeing as of March 14th is the total 58 cases that were reported in all of 2023. So, what is measles? Well, measles is highly contagious. It's a viral infection that commonly causes a rash and fever. It can be dangerous, especially for babies and young children under 5. Adults over 20 years of age, pregnant women, and people with compromised immune systems are also more likely to suffer from measles complications. Now, severe complications can include pneumonia, encephalitis, deafness, and other long-term consequences. In rare cases, measles can be deadly. About 1 in 5 people in the U.S. who get measles will require hospitalization. Measles was declared eliminated from the U.S. in 2000 thanks to a highly effective vaccination program. However, measles remains common in many parts of the world, and outbreaks can occur in the U.S. if measles is brought into the U.S. by unvaccinated travelers, including both American and foreign visitors, who get sick while they are in other countries. So what are the symptoms? Measles typically starts with a cough, runny nose, red eyes. and a fever that can get very high. 3 to 5 days after these symptoms begin, a rash will begin to develop. The rash looks like tiny red spots that start at the head and spread down to the rest of the body. If you think you or your child might have measles, call your healthcare provider immediately. How is measles spread? As I said, it's a very contagious virus and spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. You can catch measles just by being in a room where a person with measles has been up to 2 hours after the person has left. Infected people can spread measles to others 4 days before they have measles rash and 4 days after the rash appears. Someone who has not had the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, also called the MMR vaccine, or a prior infection is highly likely to get measles if they are exposed to the measles virus. How can I protect myself and my child? Important question. The best protection against measles is the MMR vaccine. The MMR vaccine provides long-lasting protection against measles. Adults who are not sure if they've had the vaccine or if they've had a prior measles infection should contact their medical provider. Doctors recommend that most children get the first dose of the MMR vaccine at the age of 12 to 15 months and a second dose at 4 to 6 years. The MMR vaccine protects the child from measles and also against mumps and rubella. For those who travel internationally, all children older than 6 months should receive an MMR vaccine. Talk to your healthcare provider about protecting your baby at least 4 weeks prior to departure. Infants who are too young to be vaccinated should avoid contact with sick people or situations where they may be exposed to sick people. Adults who are traveling internationally may need 1 or 2 doses of MMR vaccine depending on their history. What should I do if I have been exposed to someone with measles? Well, the Chicago Department of Health says if you have been exposed to someone who has measles, you should immediately call your healthcare provider and let them know. Your healthcare provider can determine if you are immune and can make special arrangements to evaluate you without putting other patients or medical staff at risk. If you are not immune to measles, MMR vaccine or medicine called immune globulin may help reduce your risk of developing measles. Your healthcare provider can advise you about whether these are necessary. If you are not immune to measles and do not get a vaccine or immune globulin, you should stay home and isolate for 21 days to ensure you do not get others sick. What is the risk of measles in Chicago? Well, most individuals in Chicago are protected from measles because they were vaccinated as children. However, some children under the age of 12 months or those with weakened immune systems may not be able to receive the vaccine. Since 2011, there have been several confirmed cases of measles in Chicago, largely related to international travel. Travelers returning to Chicago from areas experiencing ongoing outbreaks of measles, both in the U.S. and abroad, might be at risk of spreading measles within the city if they are unvaccinated. And lastly, is the MMR vaccine safe? This question comes up very often. And the answer is yes. The MMR vaccine is very safe and it is effective at preventing measles as well as mumps and rubella. Most children don't have any side effects from the MMR shot. If side effects do occur, they are usually mild and can be and usually include fever, pain, or redness where the shot was given, or a mild rash. Okay, and that's the latest update out of Chicago. They're now up to 12 confirmed cases, 10 out of the Pilsen shelter. And here at the show and on the website, outbreaknewstoday.substack.com, we'll be keeping an eye on this and giving more updates in the future. And if you liked what you watched, go ahead and please subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment below, give us your thoughts, and share with your friends. And I'll see you next time on Outbreak News TV.